you were driving from BYU
Yeah.
back home. It was the younger sister of a woman that you dated. You were supposed to fly. The parents call you and ask if you could do them a favor. And if you don't mind, share what you're
Yeah.
willing from there.
Whew. Yeah, so I drove the first 12 hours through the night, and then it was morning and the sun was up, and Jill was 3 or 4 years younger than me, and I was kind of her older brother in a way, right? The family, we were very, very close. And the mom had asked me to drive home with her. The car that they had in Utah needed to come back to New York, Scarsdale, New York. And she was going to drive alone, and her mom called me and said, I know you're going to fly, but do you mind driving? I was like, no, it's fine. So the morning came, Jill slept the night, and then I fell dead asleep kind of as Jill started to drive. And the next thing I know, we were in the median, and I wake up, and we're down in the middle of it, and we're starting to, and the front, it was a front wheel drive car, it started to flip. And all I know is we flipped a few times, and we ended up on our wheels, and I was okay. And I looked over, and Jill was slumped over the door, and immediately started to try to figure out how to, I'm not an expert, but how to try to do what I could in the middle of nowhere. So we don't need to go too far into it all, but Jill had passed away. We believe she had an aneurysm, and she actually had passed away before the car even hit the median. But at the time, she had passed away, and I'm alive, and I'm in the middle of Nebraska, and I promised her mom that I would drive her home. And I remember being really broken about it, about letting her down and letting Jill down, and like the guilt of it was super heavy. And I remember getting back and going to the home, Jill's parents' home in Scarsdale. First thing I get on the plane, go see them, and I'm thinking to myself, I was just kind of middle of nothing. I don't even know how to describe it. And I walk in, and her mother, Bonnie, takes me by the face and says to me, "Oh, Steve, I'm so glad you were there." And I was like, "What?" "I'm just so glad you were there. You're the one person I'd want to have been there." And it was shocking to me. I was like, that's what you said? It was such a moment of grace in the pain that she must feel. To say something that would make me feel like I can get through this. I felt like my life was gonna, I don't know what to think about it. And I think that I wrote a crazy book called The Law of Love. And it's really based on those experiences where people choose in very, very tough circumstances to figure out a way to be selfless. And her mom being selfless at the moment and seeing me in my pain, despite hers, as a kid, I'll never forget. And I pay it forward to her the rest of my life.
What did getting through that for you entail?
I think a big portion of the healing happened right there. Instead of wallowing in what I thought was going to be the guilt that I would feel for the rest of my life, I think was healed a little bit by their parents.
And it taught you what?
Well, of course, life is precious, right? Life is like every day. Everyone says, hey, live every day like it's your last. And I think for me, I think there's been I honestly have felt like an angel on my shoulder through my life. When Jill was an athlete, she loved football. And she loved talking about football. And so when I'd be playing, there were many times I'd hear her, it's like you carry people with you. And, I don't want to get too nutty, but I do believe in angels. I do believe there's durable spirits that can be near us and can help, almost can be assigned to us. And so I feel like that's always been a big piece of the puzzle as well.